Hey guys, Gavin here. I recently just made a deck profile on the Spright deck, and I wanted to show you guys a couple of the one card and two card combos that this deck can do, and also the way how I have been playing the deck recently. I've been seeing a lot of people mismanage resources and maybe do combos in different ways that they could have avoided playing around a lot of cards. So yeah, let me just get right into it. The first combo I want to show off is the Swap Frog combo. Now, a single swap frog is actually kind of insane because you can open swap frog plus like 4 hand traps, and it's actually like insane. So you can actually play around almost any board with this. It's kind of crazy, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it right now. So what you're going to do, you're going to normal summon swap frog, activate effect, and we are going to send a copy of Rodent Totem. I'm going to link that off into Summon Great Almirage, and we're going to use the effect of Rodent Totem to special itself out. And we are going to turn these two into a copy of Spright Elf. Now we can do this because Spright Elf takes 2 monsters, and one of the monsters just has to be a level, a rank, or a link 2. So everything's legal here so far. We're then gonna use the effect of Spright Elf, target Rodent Totem, special it to his zone here. And this is a really cool thing. Overlay these two into Gigantic Spright. Gigantic Spright basically says that you can use Link 2 like it's a level 2. And this is the first way to offshoot the combo. And if you're going second, this is really cool because if they let you get this far, Gigantic Spright, when you have, let's say, a Link 2 underneath it, is 3200 attack. So you now have a 3200 beat stick, and you are not locked into anything yet. So here, you can just attack and then overlay into Zeus. So that is the first tip here. Of course, that's not where this combo is going. We're going to use Gigantic Spright, use effect, and detach Rodent Totem for effect once it resolves. And the first offshoot of this, let's say we're up against the back row deck, we are going to summon a Toad. We are using Swap Frog off the Gigantic Spright, and we are going to dump another Swap Frog. And we're now going to use the effect of Rodent Totem again to special it out and then overlay it into a totally awesome. So off of one Swap Frog, you can make a Zeus, or you can end on a totally awesome and a Gigantic Spright for follow-up next turn. So we have 2 negates plus a follow-up for next turn. 2 forms of follow-up for next turn. But let's say you want more follow-up and you want to play against, and you want to play a little differently. So we actually have a line to do that. We're going to rewind here to the point where the Rodent Totem is underneath the Gigantic Spright. We're going to put the 2 Swap Frogs on top to signify that we're back in this old position. Now another line you can do to end on more follow-up is use Gigantic Spright, detach the Rodent Totem, and you are going to special out a copy of Spright Blue. And we're going to use the effect of Spright Blue now to add a Spright Jet. And we're going to special out Spright Jet, use effect, and here you just grab any Sprite's power trap. I like to grab follow-up here, or you can add Smashers, but I'm going to add Starter, because this is also another interrupt for next turn, plus more follow-up. And here, again, you have another skill tree. Off this skill tree, I'm just going to set the starter and make number 65 Gin Buster. If you don't know what number 65 Gin Buster does, that's okay. All you have to know is that it is a monster effect negate, where you detach these 2, and bam, you negated a monster effect. And you deal 500 damage to them, so you win in time. But let's say, hey, I don't like Gin Buster and I want even more follow-up. What do? Well, then here you turn these 2 into a Spright Elf. So now we have a second Spright Elf on board. So what we can do is during the opponent's turn, we can Spright Elf, special summon either the blue or the jet, and Spright Starter and summon an interruption. So you can summon something like Carrot, or you can summon something like Red. So you can have a monster effect negate or a spell or trap negate. So those are the lines there. As you can see, even though these lines are very simple, they're one card, you can end on very different boards. You can end on very different interrupts and very different ways to play around your opponent's board. It's very not skill intensive. I don't think that's the right way to say it, but very unintuitive. You can just do a lot of things with these cards, and that's why this deck is very, very good. Even though the deck doesn't have the highest ceiling, you can still end on a varied boards. It's been a while since we actually had one card combos that do very different things. Invokes be damned. So I could show off the totally awesome combo here where we do Swap Frog plus Spright Starter. One thing you want to know is that basically any way into 2 monsters is a totally awesome. I have a couple ways to show this, but you know, this entire deck is just varied 1-2 card combos. I'll show that off in the hand section soon. So here, I'm going to show you Spright Starter, so let's Swap Frog. This ends on varied boards again, but I'm just going to show you the very bare bones combo. So we're going to normal summon Swap Frog. Effect. We are going to dump Ronin Totem. So this is going to be very similar to the last combo. Also, if you notice, I am leading Swap Frog and not Starter, and that's because you always want a way into Zeus at the beginning. And if they interrupt you, this is a very good extender. Even though it says Starter, you don't always want it to be your starter. Being locked out of Zeus, especially going second, can be very, very difficult to play around. So we're going to just do the Mirage line again. Where is she at? Banish, special. Get rid of this. Go into Spright Elf. Again, very much the same. Target Rodent Totem. And we are going to go into Elf. A gigantic Spright effect. Detach Rodent Totem. And again, here you can do very different lines, but you don't have to go into a Spright line because you have this starter. We are going to go Swap Frog, Swap Effect, set Swap Rodent, summon out our Toad. So yep, now we have this. And finally, we can use Spright Starter. You kind of want to hold it here, mostly for the fact that you want to hold your resources just in case they interrupt you. This is like the good card to end on, right? Because this gives you like a lot of varied interrupts. But you also want to hold Starter, mostly for the fact that like the Spright engine is basically just extenders. You're basically just playing like rank 2 turbo, and these help you get into it. This is like the engine you want to get into. And you're in a blue, take your 1100, grab Jet Effect. And we're going to add another copy of Starter, just so you have varied interrupts for the opponent's turn. Because here, we are going to end on the second Spright Elf. So if you look at our board, it doesn't look very menacing, but just know that this only took 2 cards. We end on a Spright Elf, a Totally Awesome, and a Gigantic Spright. So, next turn, for reference, we can summon out a red or a carrot, 3200 again, that can detach from any XYZ monster to special summon. So let's say this is off the board, right? During the opponent's turn, you can just special summon back out Gigantic Spright, use effect, and detach off of the Totally Awesome to summon out another Spright monster. But you don't have any issue getting into Spright monsters because you already have the starter set and you have Spright Elf that can special out a blue or a jet, so you always have engine. You basically, this deck is just another like endless resource loop where you're always going to be getting into these cards and there's nothing stopping you from doing so. Like you can just hand loop your opponent basically by just how much resources you can have. Now, I'm going to show you guys a test hand to show you what these hands kind of look like. It's very interesting how like very different these hands could look because they're all kind of insane in their own different ways. So here, I am going to grab, oh my God. So this is all gas. This is a blue carrot swap red and another blue. So here I am going to show you guys what I would do with his hand. So I'm going to normal summon Swap Frog, use effect. I'm going to do this much like my last combo. And I am going to link this off into Almirage. Actually, no, let me think here, because Zeus could be main decked. Zeus could 100% be main decked. So let's change this up. I like to use the most I can with one card, but let's change this up a little bit just in case we want to play around interruptions differently. So we're going to special out blue, use effect. Grab Jet. Special out red, special carrot. We now have, on our 4th summon, a way to negate Imperm and a way to negate, what's the last card? Any monster effect, really. So, let's do it. 5th summon Gigantic Spright. Now we're going to use Gigantic Spright effect. And here we are actually safeguarded from all hand traps. However, there's a better way to do this. If we special out Jet effect. And you're probably wondering, okay, why are you doing this? You're playing into Nibiru. And I'm like, yeah, I am playing into Nibiru. But it doesn't matter. Because if they nib me here, and let's say I just don't red and I don't carrot, right? Because I have an out to all of them. I'm not afraid of any hand traps right now. The big issue is that I can always Rodent Toad back and special summon out, swap again, so I always end on Toad. So no matter what happens here, no matter how many hand traps they throw at us, they can triple hand trap us here. They'd have to. So let's look at this, right? Let's try to nib us. We use red, tribute blue. They go Valor. Okay, cool. They're all gone. Great. Okay, Rodent Toad and Bandage swap. Get into Elf, and you have follow up for next turn. Or the crazy thing is that we still have Starter, so that we can still summon Swap Frog. So this is actually correct to do here. So we're going to turn these two into, not totally awesome, Gigantic Spright. And we're going to use Gigantic Spright. And here they're going to have to interrupt us if they have anything. But again, we already have so much. The only combination that really hurts us here is a combination of like Ash Nib or Effect Failure Nib. And if they got it, they got it. So we're going to summon out Swap Frog and use Swap Effect. Banish, hit swap. Now here it's like a game of, okay, what do you want to play around, right? So we're going to, the things that like bother us the least right now are these. Actually, who am I kidding right now? We're getting rid of that. Summon out Spright Elf. And we're going to use this effect of Spright Elf. And we are going to target Swap Frog. This is going to make them have to crow us. Because then they'd have to crow this, and then we have Rodent Toad. So what's been a really bad position? Some Toad. So for me to describe what this board is right now, we have ended on, let me scoot this down real quick. We have ended on a board of a monster negate, a spell negate, spell trap negate, totally awesome that can be recycled, so 1/2. Infinite follow-up because we have a blue and a starter in hand. And again, a Spright blue and a Spright Jet engrave. Let's actually use the effect of Rodent Toad to bring it back out. So we have a free negate on our Toad, where we don't have to send it to grave and play into Called by the Grave. So this all gas hand ends on this. And for just one more way to combo, let's try this. I am going to shuffle this up one more time and do one more test hand. This deck is actually really fun. I'd really suggest this to anybody. It plays a lot like Black Wings, where it's just all gas. So, blue, Smashers, Imperm, Ash, Talents. Well, this hand obviously doesn't do anything. So let's put that in the bottom. See what's next. Driver, Ash, DD Crow, E-Telly, Rodent Totem. So this hand might look poop. This is full combo. This is actually more than full combo. We have full combo in a couple different ways here. I can show you guys what they are, but here we go. We're going to E-Telly. And we're going to bring out Gamma. And we're going to normal summon Rodent Totem. We actually have two things we can do here. We can either normal summon the Ash or the Rodent Totem, or even DD Crow. Either way, this is combo. But for here, for simplicity's sake, let's say we're going first. We're going to do this line of going Gigantic, Gigantic Effect, Detaching Rodent. And here we actually have two lines. If you think it's more important to get into your Spright starter engine, by all means, get into your Spright engine. So here we're locked out of Nib, so we can just infinitely play. So let's say, you know what, let's play smarter, let's play for gas instead of playing for Toad. We're going to summon out Spright Blue effect, add Spright Jet, special summon Spright Jet, and so that we know we have follow-up, we're going to grab starter. This is actually probably a lot better to do in the mirror, just so that we know we don't instant lose. And here, I like to say we'd want to summon Gin Buster in the mirror, but I know it's also really good to do the other one. So let's just say, for simplicity's sake, we summon Gin Buster, Gigantic Spright, we set one, and we pass. So what exactly do we have here, right? Actually, no, it would 100% be smarter. I'm being super dumb right now. It is 100% smarter to summon out Spright Elf, because during the opponent's turn, we can summon out Spright Blue, grab a carrot or a red, and instantly have a carrot or a red by summoning out carrot or red. So here we end on 1, 2, 3 interrupts due to Spright starter with infinite follow-up. So instead of us sending on Toad, which would still be pretty good because we'd get Swap Frog follow-up and we'd still have Gigantic Spright, it probably is smarter just to get into the Spright engine. But that's just my take. I'd want to know what you guys would like to do with any of these hands in the description down below. So far, this deck has been very, very good. It's not as tier 0 or tier 0 like in any means like people have been saying it is. There's just a lot of like times with this deck where the ceiling is so low. I mean, like, nothing in this deck beats over like anything that's higher than 32, right? Like, we could be playing Access Code. I'm not a big Access Code believer, but a lot of the time you're locked out from your power combo from Zeus because of your opponent's interruptions. So it's either, okay, you go into a 3200 attack Spright, like Gigantic Spright, or you just pass. You have to pass on like a Toad and just hope that's enough, and just use your negates to have to like push through a board. Or, you know, end on an IP Masquerena and like a Link 2, and then hope to God that you can Unicorn on the opponent's turn. But that's just what I've been seeing. I've been playing this deck for the past 3 weeks. I could be wrong, but that's just how I've been looking at it. This definitely is not the best deck. If this stays the best deck, I'm going to be very surprised. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions on other combos or things you guys would like to see in the future, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to do more combos like this. I know you guys really like the Predaplant combo tutorial and discussion. But yeah, that was just my thought processes. I'm sorry if my brain has been all over the place. I just wanted to walk you guys through all of the different combos. This deck is not like Predaplant at all, where there's like one combo line that's usually correct. There are multiple very different lines that you can do with all these hands. And it's very tech dependent and it's very player dependent. If you're a better player and you play this deck, you're going to be the best player in the room, in my opinion. And that's why I like this deck. It's very rewarding to a good player. But with that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Thank you guys so much for, again, getting me to over 60 subscribers. I'm very, very, how do I say this? Not relieved, grateful. I'm very grateful for you guys being a part of my journey. And I'd love to make more video guys for you guys in the future. So yeah, have a great day.